Coach, and just kind of give us an overall assessment of the previous game.
Yeah, I thought, from a standpoint of us coming back and playing extremely hard and being physical, I thought we did a lot of nice things as far as that goes. Obviously, we weren't necessarily clicking early. We sputtered a little bit, a drop pass, errant throw, or something like that to get us started. And sometimes you need one of those big plays early to kind of get you going as an offense. But I thought we settled in nicely as the game went on, and maybe got kind of imposed our will a little bit and ran the football pretty good, and which that in turn helped us set up some plays down the field. But just pleased again with our preparation for the week and then our effort during the game. And I think we've got 2 weeks in a row we can build on something offensively as the season goes.
You mentioned maybe starting out a little flat, but then when you get in the rhythm and play call after play call seems to work. What's that like for you?
Yeah, and I don't know that I'd say we were flat as much as just for whatever reason sputtering and like an errant throw here or there. Our guys were excited to play, so I don't think emotionally we were flat, but just we had our game plan laid out, how we wanted to try to attack those guys, and had some things early that we didn't hit. So I think and then we had a false start here or something like that. That kind of, offense is so much of a rhythm. Getting in the flow and the guys getting in a good rhythm. And I think that's really the biggest thing I saw was it took us a little bit to get in a rhythm, but once we did, we were able to maintain it, which I think is important.
And that was a rhythm like that, something you can carry over to the next week?
Well, I don't know about that. Sometimes, each week it kind of takes something to get you going, a big play early or sometimes if you watch teams, I think around the country, sometimes when they hit a play early in the game, it kind of gets the juices flowing, so to speak. So I don't know if it carries over as much, but it's one of those things I think each week you're looking for something that it kind of ignites your offense.
Coach, looking forward to this Texas State game. At least a couple of us here in the room
Yeah.
remember when John Thompson was here at Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
Very active, pre-snap, very aggressive type defense. What are some of the unique challenges of facing a defense like that?
Well, and John, I know John pretty well too. I was a high school coach in Atlanta when he was at Georgia State, and recruited my school. Got to know him pretty good. He's a really good defensive coach. He's had a lot of success at different places. And you're right, he gives a lot of multiple looks and a lot of different things that can give you some problems. I think the biggest thing is you got to just kind of settle in there and do what you do and be patient, because I think there's going to be some plays where the way, his philosophy is kind of he's going to get you some and hopefully we'll get them some, kind of philosophy. But you're right, he tries to give you multiple looks, and I think our guys have to be dialed in this week on their assignment, no matter what look they are, understanding what they're seeing and really just executing the offense the way that we're capable of and the way that we've designed the thing to work.
He was known kind of when he was here for bringing the house.
Yeah.
Do you keep an extra back there to block, or how does all that work?
Sometimes maybe. We see so many people doing that now. It's kind of like offense. Offense, spread offense or whatever is more prevalent now than it's been, so it doesn't surprise you as much. And I think John was one of the first guys around the country probably, or one of the guys that kind of did, played an aggressive style of defense. So I think we do see that more and more these days, guys that are coming through running defenses around. But it's definitely a thought that you might have, is keep a guy in. But at the end of the day, I think you got to do what you do and do it really well and make sure our guys are prepared for the different looks and so forth you might see. But I don't see us changing our whole philosophy, for it, for sure.
How important is Ito Smith to this offense?
Boy, he's real important Saturday. He, you know what? He's just a guy that since he's been here, he's got a knack for making plays. And comes from a really good high school program there at McGill-Tulane and has been coached really well. And then he's just continued to develop. He's a great kid, great attitude, works extremely hard in the off season to prepare himself, and he's we think our running backs are a strength of our team. All three of those guys that played Saturday played well. Ito had a big game, and this week it could be him or it might be one of the other ones. But we're extremely pleased with Ito for sure.
How exciting is that as an offensive coordinator? You get the block punt there in the first quarter and right around the 20 or wherever it was at. I mean, just how exciting is that to see that as an OC and know that you're just right there?
It's good. I was hoping they'd scoop it and score. It's always makes it easier. But it is nice to have great field position. That's fun. Our defense did a really nice job Saturday, and you know, like I told you last week, you know, we're trying to get a lot better in the red zone, which we did this week, and scoring touchdowns and not kicking as many field goals. But you know, it's nice from a standpoint of the field's shorter and your odds increase definitely of scoring touchdowns.
Whenever you know, you rise to the occasion of hosting Mississippi State, and an FCS school comes to town, now you hit the road and, you know, come back up a little bit with Texas State. What's
Right.
the, you know, the changing in ways like for you guys?
You know what? We're trying to really stress to our guys to play to our level, you know, championship football, and play to the level that we want to play. And sometimes it's harder than others, but, you know, there was no reason for us not to be ready to play Saturday because we're getting to play here in the Rock and in front of our people, and that's always fun. And I think our guys have bought into that. Like I said, we played extremely hard. We played fast. I don't think it was a lack of not being prepared and mentally to play. I just think sometimes it takes a little bit to get going from a standpoint, like I said earlier, of just hitting some plays to get the momentum going. And like I said, eventually we did, and that was good to see too.
Coach, you may not want to comment on this, but can we expect to see T-Man or Ricard back in the lineup anytime soon?
Shoot, I hope so. We'll just have to see how things go with them, you know, from standpoint of practice, see how things go, and go from there.
Do you know when a starting job with this place?
You know, we have different personnel groups. So in some personnel groups, one running back's involved, the other a different one. So sometimes the starting thing's overrated because it depends on what personnel group you start the game in. He's definitely, we consider him to be a starter though, for sure.
What changes when you guys hit the road, if anything?
Nothing that I can think of other than just, you know, a different routine on Friday, you know, a little earlier practice on Friday and getting on a plane. And, you know, college football players, hopefully we're used to that by now. You know, some of the new guys, maybe it's a little bit of a change, but I don't see a whole lot being different.
Coach, most teams have that one guy or two guys on either side of the ball where things just feel better. Guys they make everybody calmer, feel better, more collect when they're on the field.
Right.
Is Casey Martin, does he sort of fit into that bill? I mean, he's...
Yeah, I think he does. He's an older guy. You know, he's a senior. He's made a lot of big catches for us. I think you're right. There's probably a security blanket there for a lot of our, you know, from the quarterback's perspective, and even just our players. Casey's a smart and intelligent football player. I think a couple other guys, Mike Thomas is one of those guys. Cameron Tom's one of those guys. Jalen is one of those guys, just older guys that have played a bunch. I think there's always a sense of security when you got those kind of guys on the field.
Anything else?
All right.
Good.